It was a winning Easter for the Wigan Warriors. Hull KR were beaten on Monday, just 3 days after arguably their best performance of the season at St Helens in the Good Friday encounter. Dom Manfredi was the star in Wigan's win at Saints. His try opened the scoring and the floodgates. But on Monday it was the man on the other flank, Josh Charnley, who caught the eye with a hat-trick of tries. Warrington, meanwhile, knocked Widnes off top spot on Friday. Kurt Gidley was star of the show here with a try and 4 successful kicks. But Gidley and the Wolves couldn't back up on Monday. Despite Chris Sandow giving the Wolves a 10-point half-time lead, Hull hit back to win a close one. Warrington do stay top of the pile. Wigan are right behind them and will claim pole themselves if they win tonight. Yes, only the best will do for a Super League Friday, and this is the battle of the top two, separated only by points difference for and against. Locked together on 14 points, it's Wigan's meanest of defences against Warrington's best attack in the game right now. How Wigan would have loved to have been at full strength for this one, but it's not to be. Anthony Gelling added to a lengthening injury list, so Jack Higginson becomes the third academy youngster in 4 weeks to graduate to the big time. Some disruption up front too. Their first choice front row is out. John Bateman was added to the injury list this week, but at least Liam Farrell, who missed both the Easter fixtures, is fit to return, and partner Joel Tompkins in the second row, and Willie Isa returns after missing the last 6. On the bench, Talima Tautai has passed a fitness test just before kick-off, and so he maintains his ever-present record this year. Warrington, meanwhile, look almost at full strength, although they are lacking the likes of Ben Harrison, James Laithwaite, Mitchell Dodds and Brad Dwyer, all long-term injuries. But in Tom Lynham and Chris Sandow, they have 2 men banging scoring form. 8 tries each so far. Up front, numerically anyway, it's their first-choice pack. Ben Curry has also chipped in with 8 tries this year in what's been an outstanding start to the season personally, while Jack Hughes returns to his former club. They're so strong in the starting 13 that Stefan Ratchford and Joe Westerman have to be content with places on the bench. So Super League, 20 years of age this week. Wigan and Warrington, along with Leeds and St Helens, have been ever present in all of that time. The Warrington Wolves, 5th and 6th in the last 2 years, but Tony Smith has remodelled his side, and this could be their year. They did lose their unbeaten start at Hull on Monday, but have been with Wigan the 2 most impressive sides so far, and are fancied to meet at Old Trafford just as they did in 2013. Great crowd inside the DW tonight. Over Easter, Wigan closed the gap on Warrington in the table. They're second only on points difference now. Hull and Catalan have closed in on the top 4. Both of those 2 have won 7 of the first 8 of the season so far. Terry O'Connor, it is a match that makes your mouth water.
It's absolutely brilliant, Eddie. Backing up after the Easter period, after those tough games and the short turnaround, first versus second, got 2 very talented sides with an awful lot of strike. Wigan without 7 first-team players, but you still look at the side and what they've got. They're big, they're powerful. They know it's going to be a big contest against the Warrington side. That surely there's going to be a reaction from Tony Smith's men. As you said, they look at full strength, both of these sides. Really up for this game, concentrating on this game, because this is the game, Eddie. As a player, it sneaks up on you. The short turnaround over the Easter period, that's your focus, that's what you're looking at playing. This is the game that really gets you. A nice little turnaround in training, and there it is, game on.
Well, it's the 50th Super League encounter, exactly 20 years after the first at Central Park in April 1996. That was a 42-12 Wigan win. Sean Edwards, Chris Radlinski amongst the try scorers. Andy Farrell kicked 6 goals. And what's more, Wigan won the return at the old Wilderspool ground 21 points to 0. These 2 great clubs met in the 2013 Grand Final. Will they be walking out side by side at Old Trafford in October of this year? Warrington have enjoyed their best start to a season since 1987-88 under Tony Barrow, their previous best Super League start 4 wins in a row in 1999. Robert Hicks is the referee. Chris Sandow, one of the stars of the show. Ratchford will take his place on the bench. A return to action for Willie Iser. Warrington are here in numbers off the field as well. They've packed the terraces behind the posts that they will be defending in this first half. 1 or 2 niggles, and of course fitness doubts coming into this, the third game in 8 days. We'll also be keeping an eye on the Saints against Hull FC. That's a big match at Langtree Park. We'll bring you the tries from there as they are scored. But here at the DW Stadium, it's Wigan against Warrington. Warrington will get us underway. Shrill blast on the referee Robert Hicks's whistle. Here we go for what could be very, very special 80 minutes. And that defence from Warrington showing up early to force Lee Mossop back towards his own goal line.
Eddie, these are the games and these are the fixtures that you want to be involved in. You want to make sure that you're playing in front of the big crowd. Both sets of fans are turning up here, expecting their sides to perform and get one over the opposition.
Liam Farrell takes tackle number 3 of this match. And Sean O'Loughlin in centre field looks for the runners. And that is Tony Clubb. Down he goes. Sam Powell is behind him at dummy half. Spins the ball into the arms of Joel Tompkins. Powell waits again, midway inside his own half of the field. Matty Smith, first kick of the evening from him. Angled and all along the ground. It made Tom Lynham bend his back to pick it up. Lynham will bring it forward as far as Farrell, and as far as Gildart, and as far as Mossop. That's Kurt Gidley, the dummy half. Now it's Rhys Evans.
Eddie, one of the most notable features about Wigan's Good Friday victory over St Helens was the amount of quick play of the balls they got compared to the opposition. 43 to about 15 for St Helens. So Wigan getting down and up off the ground quicker than their opposition. I think Warrington are going to have to push this referee to the limit tonight. There was only 5 penalties conceded in the Warrington Widnes game. You consider an average of Super League would have 20. I think Warrington are going to have to tread that line between legal and illegal at slowing the play the ball down tonight. Or else if Wigan get quick play of the balls, it could be all over for the visitors.
High crossfield kick from Sandow on the back of that set of 6. Penny knocks it back. Unfortunately for Wigan, there was no Warrington jersey there to get hold of it. That was the first touch in Super League for young Jack Higginson. He's 18 years of age. He's on his Super League debut. He's 19 on Monday.
Well, Warrington to go on with your point, Brian, further, showing that physically here in the opening 2 minutes of this match, they can physically match what Wigan are doing. At times it looks as though Wigan players were just far stronger than the Saints when they ran with the ball and when they tackled them. That physical mismatch isn't apparent in the first early stages of this game.
Wigan now in possession with the skipper O'Loughlin. Gidley quickly in to clamp the ball to his chest. No chance of an offload. Jack Hughes was in there also. And here's another kick downtown from Matty Smith off the ankles and the legs of Matty Russell. He will bring it back, the Warrington fullback.
Eddie, I love watching Matty Russell play. He's fully committed. Every time he carries the ball, he's looking to bust. You've got him who takes the first carry, then you've got some of the outside backs. But what Warrington are trying to do is get the quick play of the ball for the man behind the play of the ball now in Darryl Clark. The more it opens up, as the speed gets on, I'm sure he'll have a big influence.
Jack Hughes is pulled to ground. Darryl Clark, the dummy half, right on the halfway line. Chris Hill takes Warrington over the whitewash into Wigan territory. Oh, and a little fumble in the juggle from Ben Westwood. It's a free play for Wigan. Good work. Great work by Higginson. Oh, now he loses it. They'll bring it back for the first knock-on.
Well, Ben Westwood normally focusing on catching those balls. They're just bread and butter for him. The pass was okay. It was straight to him.
Butter was too slippy there, Terry.
Then Jack Higginson, well, he just wants a good touch, doesn't he? Like all youngsters in the game, he wants to get hold of the ball, start positively, end positively, but that man Ben Westwood will look to make amends, I'm sure.
Just a word about Jack Higginson. Sean Wayne, the Wigan coach, saying he's excited at having him in the side. Naturally, he would want Anthony Gelling in the team for a game as big as this, but he believes that Higginson is a young man very much for the future and is looking forward to seeing how he copes with the pressure of this match. Here's the first penalty for Warrington not standing square at the play of the ball.
It's unusual, isn't it? Did he say that they had 3 markers? That's sloppy so early in the match here. Look, 3 men there, not even stood in the right position.
This was a little triangle, wasn't it, behind the play the ball? So it's gifted Wigan this territory. They're 22, 21, now 20 metres away from the Warrington line as the tackle is effected on Lee Mossop. Driving run coming in again. And it's Tony Clubb who goes down under pressure from Westwood and Sims. Now O'Loughlin. Here is Liam Farrell. Warrington get him down just shy of their own goal line. Powell pointing left, so naturally goes right into centre field. Drops the pass off to O'Loughlin. He then finds Lee Mossop. That's how close the Wigan Warriors are. 4 tackles gone. Smith, the loose pass, but well picked up by Higginson. And he is then picked up by Darrell Clark. So we've reached tackle number 5. Last one here for Wigan. What do they have? At least they would hope a repeat set of 6. And they might get it. They do, because that ricocheted off the Warrington leg into the arms of Lee Mossop.
Well, there was good pressure from Warrington. Unfortunately for them, they made a play for that. So Wigan again 10 metres from the line, Ed. With
Powell, who gives it then to Willie Isa. Willie Isa hasn't played for Wigan since the World Club Series against Brisbane here. Powell again looks for the runners. It's Tony Clubb. Clubb drives it into within 3 or 4 metres of the line and then gets the penalty because there was interference. He was just trying to get to his feet and get a quick play the ball away.
There's some pressure here on Warrington's line. They only need to make sure that they keep turning up for each other, to keep on trying to dominate Wigan, who are asking a lot of questions here.
Isa will play the ball. Here now is Smith. Smith then gets it away to Higginson, who's looked solid in the opening 8 minutes or so.
He doesn't look short of confidence, does he?
Tell you what, look at them target Warrington's right edge now, which had problems last week.
Good ball from O'Loughlin, finds Mossop. He's spun to the ground though by Rhys Evans. Powell wanted a quick play the ball, Wigan, they got it. Matty Smith stabs the ball towards the in-goal area, but Warrington repel the attack, and that's Rhys Evans.
And Eddie Rhys Evans, the man that brought the ball back here and scooped it up from the kick through. Kick through being a compliment, I think, to Warrington Wolves' defence. He had not quite a torrid time, but a difficult time against Hull FC. And that right edge for Warrington Wolves was targeted heavily. Hull FC got some great results. I think with Kirk Gidley back inside and marshalling that side, the defensive efforts from Warrington's edge will be a lot better tonight.
First Warrington penalty now for offside at the play the ball.
Do you know, isn't this a let-off for Warrington? They've been under the pump, they've been defending the line, they've had 3 sets of 6, and then all of a sudden they come up with the penalty, relieves all that pressure, all the hard work that you do to trap the opposition down near the line. That's where you want to play the game. When you've had a tough period like they've had, that's where you want to play the game.
Do you know, there's a good atmosphere in here. This is really set for a classic game of rugby league here on a Friday night, the start of April. 2 good teams. They can both attack and they can both defend. You'll have to do something special if you want to score a try. That's how it should be.
Yeah, Friday, April the 1st, April Fool's Day, but nothing silly about this, let me tell you that. Here is Chris Hill, and he was met by Sean O'Loughlin, helped out by Willie Isa.
Sorry, Ed, that was great line speed from Sean O'Loughlin. That's the danger man, Chris Hill.
Good tackle by Gildart on Rhys Evans. Kirk Gidley, dummy half. Here is Tom Lynham, 8 tries already this season for Lynham, bounces off one shoulder, gets the ball away to Hill. Here now is Sandow. Sandow then to Westwood. Westwood gets it wide, and Ben Curry. He is brought to ground by Dominic Manfredi. Now Sandow, little chip over the top, bounces kindly though for Dan Sargentson. Well, 0-0 here at Wigan. Wigan against Warrington at St Helens though. Early scores apparently. Ben.
That's right, Ed, 8.5 gone, and just on 3 minutes it was Helens who've taken the lead, and Theo Farge with the grubber, Greenwood with the try. 2 teams with identical records, and they've hit the front first, the host, 6-0.
6-0 takes St Helens then, 0-0 here, but it is Liam Farrell trying to turn that situation around for Wigan. He plays the ball there to Powell. Now here comes Mossop again on the charge. Good defence though from Clark and from the Warrington skipper Chris Hill. Powell kicking from dummy half because that was the last. He goes over to the other side of the field and a fumble by Penny, but it went backwards. He gets away with it.
Eddie, it wasn't the best the kick, it was straight to Kevin Penny, but 2 good runs from Wigan in the build-up to that play. That's what they need to do. They need to make sure they just keep on turning Warrington around with the big, huge runs and also with the kicking game. But both sides are going to be looking for that.
That's Ryan Atkins. He needs 1 try tonight for 150 in Super League. The Warrington Wolves centre. Once upon a time he played for Wakefield. He scored 45 for them. Ball bobbling around on the ground, and it's picked up by somebody, but it's a knock on.
There's a couple of indicators for Wigan here. See Gidley come down and adjudged to have knocked the ball on. Gidley was waiting in behind to play the ball, and as were all of the Warrington Wolves playmakers. Dispute for the ball. Well, it might have been off Sam Powell.
Well, he's ruled that the ball came off Sam Powell first. That was the first knock on. It's Warrington head and feed.
Just interesting, Gidley, Sandow, Clark all stuck in behind to play the ball. No ball players out wide, so if you're Wigan Warriors defence, you would have an opportunity there to compress up. It would be unlikely that they will shift the ball through the hands with all their talented passers of the ball right behind the ruck.
10 minutes gone, 0-0 here at the DW Stadium. Wigan-Warrington, Rhys Evans for the Wolves in possession, forced to the ground. Again, Wigan making sure the tackle man is on his back and making sure that it is a slow play the ball for the opposition. Chris Hill, though, fights to keep his knees on the deck and does, but hands in from Tony Clubb.
Eddie, that was a brilliant run from Chris Hill. Look at that, it carries 3 men forward. They can't dominate him, they can't turn him onto his back. Then all of a sudden the next best thing that they can do is clamp hold the ball, so he can't plonk it on the floor and get a quick play of the ball.
Just like the one down
He's a huge talent, isn't he, since he's moved from Lee Centurions. Been a very good signing.
And here's Jack Hughes, the man we spoke to pre-game. Back at this stadium again. He was here, of course, with Huddersfield, where he was on loan last year. Now he's a permanent fixture of the Warrington Wolves setup. Ashton Sims takes Warrington within 6 metres of the line. That was Clark. This is Gidley, who hit the pass to Westwood. It went like a bullet, but somehow Westwood held on to it. 3 metres away now as Clark finds Sandow. Sandow then looks for Ben Curry, and Curry gets his 9th try of the season. That's a great dive for the line by Ben Curry. He has started the last 6 in the second row, following a couple of appearances in the centre for Tony Smith. And Ben Curry tries in 6 in a row before the match at Hull on Monday. He's back in the scoring groove, is Ben Curry.
Eddie, we've got some fabulous youngsters playing in Super League, and Ben Curry's one of those, but you can put it down to the run from Chris Hill. That was absolute quality. The little things that you do in the game sometimes don't get you the rewards, but your teammates know what you're doing. And you've also got to credit the pass from Darryl Clark. That hits Sandow straight on the button, who goes at the line. Everyone's looking at Sandow. Matty Smith takes his eye off that man, who's going to hit a real strong, hard line. Comes short off him, eyes on Sandow. Good run from Curry, gets a one-on-one with Matty Smith.
So just what Warrington needed, the first try of the match scored by Ben Curry, who at 21 years of age is growing into an outstanding rugby league player. And it's going to be Chris Sandow who will take this conversion and not Kurt Gidley.
Well, it was Sandow who made the kicks at Hull. They were very difficult from the sidelines, but there were 3 misses. They ended up losing against Hull FC by just 2 points. His record is just over a 50% success so far this season, and he's just about missed with that one.
Yes, only the thickness of the post that prevented him. But Wigan were moving forward off the goal line when this kick was taken. Might be worth having another look at that and having a word with Stuart Cummings about this.
Well, they should stay behind the goal line until the kick is taken. You know, the referee could deem that that's a penalty, not a penalty, give them the kick again. So you know they need to be careful with that.
I don't want to make this about me, but I actually got sin bin for charging down a conversion against Salford about 10 years ago. Carl Kirkpatrick looked at me in disbelief, pulled out the yellow card and sent me to the sin bin.
Brian, you've got to get over it.
I think also, by the way, 10 years ago, I think it's a bit further back than that.
Anthony Gelling got done, didn't he, in the World Club Challenge match here, the World Club Series game against the Broncos last season at the end of the game for doing something similar. So it's against the rules, but at the moment the Wolves lead 4-0. You know, here's Matthew Russell. Boys down the middle.
Down the middle he is. He gets the ball away to Darryl Clark. Oh, and it was just a little collision in the middle of the field that brought him to grief. And there's a penalty. It has to be, and that could be a yellow card for Liam Farrell. It is.
Well, to keep the pressure on here, they've split Wigan up the middle. They couldn't get set. It's all about speed for the Wolves. The play of the ball is really hurting the Warriors at present.
Taking a quick penalty, quick tap. Ashton Sims, why wouldn't they? Warrington then very much on the front foot here with Darrell Clark. Now Sandow asking for someone to come back on the inside. Loops the ball over the top to Tom Lynham, and Lynham gets in the corner. Second try to the Warrington Wolves. Great pass from Chris Sandow. Well, they've made Wigan pay for that indiscretion, haven't they? They really have. Liam Farrell sin-binned for a professional foul, and then Lynham over in the corner on the end of a looping pass from Chris Sandow.
Well, Matt Russell's almost like an American football running back. He just picks the ball up from behind the place and goes hard downfield. Look at the break to provide for Darrell Clark, but Wigan's cover got back. Liam Farrell holding on for too long. They were lucky in a previous game here with players not simming for a similar situation, but this referee's pulled out the yellow, and all of a sudden then Chris Sandow's pulled out a peach of a pass. Just look at this, drifts across the field, left to right, invites Tom Lynham to fall onto the ball and fall over the line.
Do you know, you've got to be confident for all this pass. He's asking runners to come inside. As soon as that dummy runner comes inside, it's holding up the Wigan defence, creates space on the edge. But that is a tremendous, tremendous pass.
I'm not sure Oliver Gildart had to turn himself so far in. He made Josh Charnley, but he put him in a very difficult position. He would have to follow his centre in. We'll see on a replay again what Gildart was doing, what threat he perceived to be in front of him, because he made the decision for Sandow, really. He made the defensive line, he pulled it short, and Sandow, a player of his ability, will always find his pass.
2 tries in 3 minutes for Warrington. Can Sandow add the extras this time? Drawing it towards the post, but it just goes the wrong side. 8-0, the Wolves.
What is interesting about this goal kick is we see the pass here, Brian.
Yeah, here it is. This is what I'm wondering why Gildart finds himself so far in. Sean O'Loughlin's covered Rhys Evans. Gildart has no business coming in, and he made it difficult for Charnley. Sandow, he would have just looked up here, float the ball over, all at sea out of the left-hand edge for Wigan. Absolutely, they're down to a man, but they didn't need to concede a try with that play.
Just going back to that goal kick, and we've seen Sandow miss that one again, Eddie. You know, Kurt Gidley is one of the best goal kickers, has been so far in his time at Warrington. It fascinates me that he isn't kicking if he's out there and able to play, but he isn't taking the goal kicks with an over 80% success rate. That's something maybe Angela will find out in the second half.
Yeah, maybe there is something slightly wrong with him. Kurt Gidley, he's been a revelation since he came over here to partner Sandow. Maybe there's the reason, heavily strapped on the right thigh. But here is Sandow again. They have 3 against 1 on that far side. Ball is fed out to Penny, who does really well to pick the ball up off his bootlaces. Not the best pass on that occasion from Sandow. He has another go now, and allowing him to run with it, Wigan. And he pops it up to Matty Russell, and Russell is quick from a standing start. Oh, but not the best. Straight into the arms of Charnley.
Was he trying to do a Chris Sandow pass?
Not sure. 2 Warrington men down. One of them, Rhys Evans, is not able to get back to his feet.
He's a runner, Eddie, not a passer. He's a runner, absolutely, and not a passer. Dan Sargentson, heavy tackle.
Here's Charnley. Loses the ball. Was knocked back out of his hands, actually.
Yeah, he made a play for that, but the ball went backwards.
So it's not a free play. The referee says play on because it was pulled back from the Wigan hands by a Warrington hand, but Warrington thought it was the free play.
Yeah, I think Darrell Clark got a bit confused then. He thought it was the free play, but it was stripped, so it was a one-on-one, so it was Warrington's ball. They didn't need to come up with that play.
Well, they need to come up with a player, don't they? Stephen Ratchford's just about to enter the field here. Rhys Evans is injured, and Stephen Ratchford, Mr. Versatility, comes on the field here now.
Here is yes, Rhys Evans leaves the field for the time being, head and feet here at the scrum to Warrington for a Wigan knock-on.
Well, it's not a bad replacement, is it, when you can bring Stephen Ratchford onto the pitch? The mistake, again, you don't want to be making those mistakes. Warrington are completing at 100%. Here's the injury from Rhys Evans. Just on Josh Charnley as he brings him to ground. But having to leave the pitch, that's a big blow for Tony Smith. And a big blow for Warrington. Will that affect the substitutions?
Well, Rhys Evans suffered a bad shoulder injury last year. It kept him out for much of the campaign. He has started the season really brightly for Warrington. I hope that it isn't something that has come back to haunt him, that shoulder.
Yeah.
Well, doubtless we'll find out.
Well, fingers crossed.
This is Hill now again. I think the one thing that we've come to discover early in the season 2016, if you keep your players fit, you're going to be in with a great chance of making Challenge Cup finals and Grand Finals. There are so many clubs battling away with injuries, crises at the moment. Sandow kick to the far side. Brilliant, brilliant kick from Sandow, and a great try from Penny. And not referred upstairs because Penny was well onside. Now, didn't he do that against the Leeds Rhinos recently in the first game of the season, Chris Sandow? Wasn't it a kick to the wing for a try on that occasion too? And he has repeated the dose against Wigan here tonight.
Do you know what? Players playing with confidence, and Chris, that Sandow's one of them. He's created one on the other side of the pitch from a pass, and look at that. You've got Kevin Penny just holding the width, hugging the touchline. You've got the players going at the line, pulling up the Wigan defence. You take your eyes off Warrington anywhere on the park and they'll burn you. And that man Kevin Penny, he scored some fabulous tries, hasn't he, during his career. But look at this for the kick. Absolutely quality, right on the button.
Yes, tremendous kick from Sandow. It was Sandow to that man Penny in the game at Headingley. Well, that's the third try to Warrington in this opening half of the first half. And Wigan, they have a crisis meeting behind the posts. Sandow, can he kick his first conversion of the night? No, he can't.
Well, he can do almost everything else, but maybe he can't do that. You know, last season when he arrived, I didn't think he was that good a player, but I stand corrected. His form this season has been sensational. He can kick off the outside foot to the right wing, he can kick it direct to the left wing. He runs the ball, he passes it well, and I'll tell you what, at the moment, this competition is being led by Chris Sandow.
Speed of thought and execution in that play was exceptional. There was no look up, pace yourself, position the ball and then kick it across. I would say Sandow looked earlier, knew they'd be short in the Wigan defensive line, knew he had Penny out wide, and then all he had to do was look at Don Manfredi. Don Manfredi drifted in, it was going to be a kick. If he stayed out, he could put it through the hands. Smart play from a very smart player.
Yeah, very smart play. He came over and he talked a good game, didn't he, last season? But didn't quite come up with the goods, but he's shed a few pounds, I think. He looks fitter and he looks really on top form.
Eddie, if you know you're a good player, you'll back yourself. Last year he wasn't fit, like you quite rightly said. This year, under John Clark, he looks a total different player. His attitude every time he plays, he'll back himself to come off with that play that nobody else can do, whether they've got the vision or whether they've got the sheer confidence to do it.
High kick this time from Sandow down the line, and underneath it is the fullback Dan Sargentson. You might have noticed Hull KR are ahead at Headingley, by the way. We have injury news to catch up on here, and I wonder whether Angela's got any news about why Kurt Gidley isn't kicking. Ange?
Yeah, it's really bad news, it looks like, for Rhys Evans. You may have known he was out for a while with an injury to his left shoulder. It was dislocated and a rupture of his muscle at the back as well. It looks like it's the same injury, but on his right shoulder. They're still assessing him now, but it could be bad news for Rhys Evans.
This is good news for Wigan, a penalty.
They need it, Eddie. They absolutely need it. Down on energy, down on luck, well, they conceded 3 tries. They really need to get into this game and find the rhythm really quick.
Kurt Gidley missed the game on Monday, Eddie. I think he was with a thigh strain, and with that sort of an injury, kicking would cause you some difficulties, I think. And I think it's the better part of valour, and the caution.
Absolutely. Apparently they're very tight-lipped on the sidelines as to what is wrong with Gidley in the kicking department. So, but well done, Brian. I'm glad you're the spy in the camp. Good for us. Thanks very much. 12-0 Warrington. Wigan looking to try and wrest the advantage back in this match. Greg Burke is out there now. Big collision between him, Hill and Ashton Sims. And there's Sam Powell and via Tompkins it goes to Higginson again.
Very lateral, Eddie. Not really asking many questions here.
They might now, because that's a nice kick from Smith, but it's plucked out of the air by Stephen Ratchford. And he's evaded Sargentson. He can't get away from the next man in. And that was good work from Sam Powell. Here's the latest try scorer, Kevin Penny.
Well, it's a good counter as well from Stephen Ratchford, the sub, just onto the pitch. He's a player who can certainly change the flow of the game, Stephen Ratchford.
So is Matty Russell. chiming in from full-back, even though he's wearing number 5 on his back. Here is Gidley. Now it's with Sims. Sims gets the ball away to Ratchford. Ratchford hangs on. Just pushed back by the defenders. Ryan Sutton is out there. Here's the last one coming up for Warrington then. And it's with Gidley. Kicking okay in general play. Nice kick to the corner. In fact, it's a great kick to the corner. And I think he's got away with it, has he? No, he hasn't got away with it.
It was perfect. They've got the ball back. It's a repeat set, even better because they were 10 metres from the opponent's line. Sergeantson has to go for it, puts his hands on it, knocks on, and the foot's on the sideline as well. Well,
his foot's on the sideline. That means that he's taken the ball out. So it should. He's not made the ball dead. It should be a Wigan head and feed there.
Well, his toenail is just about on the white line there.
He's in touch. He's in touch at that point. He touches the ball. The ball's made dead by the kicker. So it should be Wigan head and feed at that scrum.
Well, there was no call from the video referee as Sandow runs laterally and then he goes down in a heap.
Is there a problem?
Was there a problem there for him?
Sure there's a problem.
Yes, it's a hamstring, looks like. Might be a hamstring problem for Sandow.
Yeah, as soon as he was going across the park, he was trying to get a 2-on-1 with Don Manfredi. Fingers will be crossed from the medical staff for him.
He's gone.
And Atkins gets to his feet, plays the ball to Kevin Penny. Penny will have a dash at this line again, but he's beaten by sheer weight of numbers. Clark is waiting now. From Clark, it comes to Gidley and then to Hill. He's staying out there, Sandow.
He can't move. The physio's come running off. Sandow cannot move.
Matty Russell. Once upon a time, of course, with the Wigan Warriors. Full-back, just 2 appearances in 2012. Darrell Clark fires the pass to Gidley. That takes a ricochet, then a knock-on from Chris Hill. I think he went backwards off the Wigan man. And then Chris Hill knocked it on. We'll have to see. The referee not sure. He's going to have a word with the touch judge.
So we're going to have a look at it. It's the pass.
Well, that goes backwards off Wigan, then it's knocked on. Oh, no, he's called offside. He's called offside against Wigan.
Yeah, the toucher's called Tautai offside and then called him involved in the play. And the referee's confirmed that and gone back and given the penalty.
I'm looking at Chris Sandow and wondering what exactly has happened here. There hasn't been a rush for somebody to come off. His legs straightened up. He looked like he was in severe difficulty. He spent
possible cramp, Brian?
Well, it could be, but this is... No, he's coming off the field now, but it's just been slow to get a replacement on there. It could be fairly difficult to diagnose, as you've always said, from a distance, but when a player goes down like that, to me it would seem like a hamstring or certainly a tear of a muscle.
Could just be a tweak.
Could be, that's 3 weeks if that's the case, according to the late great Bob Paisley. 3 weeks for a tweak and 6 weeks if it's gone. That's what he always used to tell me.
Worst Welsh accent I've ever heard.
Sir Bob Paisley, he should have been knighted. Anyway, that's another era. Here is Stefan Ratchford underneath the sticks for Warrington.
Well, this will put a bit of pressure on Wigan. Straight under the sticks, an easy 2 points for them. And if Chris Sandow can't take any further part in this game, that's a huge blow for them, isn't it?
It is, but they've got Gidley, they've got Ratchford, they've got enough players with the right numbers on the back to cover with that.
But to be fair, it's a huge blow for them. He's a great player.
Yes, it is, but Phil's right, they've got strength in depth, and Ratchford, well, it was bang in front, but at least they've got Ratchford to take the kicks now. So 14-0 to Warrington, 26.5 minutes here at the DW Stadium.
Well, Wigan just need some good field position, a couple maybe of repeat sets. I think some of the forwards early on started as though they were running to bust, they were trying to intimidate Warrington, get over the top of them. Well, let's see what they can do here.
Matty Smith restarts then, and Wigan with 14 points to make up. Here comes Ashton Sims on the first charge, and we have more action at Langtree Park, Benpro.
Half an hour gone at Langtree Park, and Hull FC have equalised, Eddie, and it's a mirror image really of the Saints try. This time Sneed with the grubber, Danny Houghton with the try. Hull FC right back in this game, 6 apiece.
Yeah, 6-all there. Hull Kingston Rovers leading at Leeds, and here Warrington 14-0 to the good against Wigan. Big night of Super League action from the First Utility Super League this Friday evening. Third game in 8 days for many of the players, for all of the players. Ratchford inside his own 40-metre zone, but Sargentson cuts out any possibility of a 40-20.
This is where in previous games Wigan's outside backs have been fantastic. The wingers, the centres get the team rolling forward. None better than Anthony Gelling, although they won't need to do it right now, because this kick to touch takes them 20 metres easily inside their opponent's half, and Matthew Smith delighted here now, kicks it, gains some ground, and they want to up the tempo now of the Warriors.
Wigan will be delighted, Brian, won't they? There are a few plotters there.
There was as unnecessary a penalty as you'll see. 7 Wigan players the wrong side of the ball, walking back to get onside. The Warrington Wolves, you don't need to sacrifice speed and play the speed of line there.
So Wigan coming forward again with Ryan Sutton, trailing by 14 points. Sam Powell misses out. Tautai finds his skipper. That's Smith. Good hands again from Sargentson to Higginson. Tall, rangy young man. He goes down eventually in the tackle, and Kevin Penny wouldn't let him up, and then got a hand in the ball, knocked it out of his grasp. Penalty now for Wigan.
Well, as I said before, Ed, he's had a couple of good touches, hasn't he? And Jack Higginson on his debut. Kevin Penny giving that penalty away.
Here's Talima Tautai now. Gets Wigan to within 10 metres. One tackle gone this latest set. Burke to O'Loughlin. And it was Gidley flying around his hips. Powell. Smith drops the pass short. Joel Tompkins can't get away from terrier-like defence from Chris Hill. Sam Powell, he's looking for a penalty. Tompkins wasn't coming. Here is Smith, now with O'Loughlin. Long pass to Charlie, forward pass. Josh Charlie almost over. Well, he did get over, but the try is chalked off for a forward pass.
He should have a penalty. Jack Hughes was standing about 5 yards offside on this play.
But had it been a delayed play the ball, Brian, you could have penalised the man with the ball for not playing the ball as well. There's either way, shall we say.
A little smile from Sean O'Loughlin and not a smile from that man, Sean Wayne.
Come on, guys, let's get
disappointed with his captain.
One too many here, boys. Come on.
Yes, that was a chance that went begging. Some more action at the Saints, Ben.
St Helens back in front, Eddie. It was Luke Walsh with a reverse crossfield kick that did the damage, and Dawson, loitering with intent over on that left-hand side, goes in to restore the Saints' advantage. They're now ahead by 12 points to 6.
12-6 Saints against Hull. We have news on Chris Sandow. Angela.
It's bad news for the Warrington fans and the Warrington team again here. Chris Sandow's been pivotal to them this season, but it looks like he's suffered a hamstring tear. They're still assessing how bad it is, but he definitely won't play for the rest of this game. And similarly with Rhys Evans, he won't play again this game.
So they lost 2 men, but they're 14-0 up are the Warrington Wolves.
That could hurt them, that, Eddie, as the game gets on. Could really, really hurt them.
They are backs though, aren't they? You'd expect them to play for the full game, so they've got 4 subs on the bench. This is the game of rugby league as King now cuts down the middle.
Yes, long striding run from George King to the halfway line. They're at the last though. They're running this now, Warrington, and that's a forward pass.
Well, this could be playing in the hands now of Wigan. Not getting to the kick. The pass from Kirk Gidley does go forward to Ryan Atkins. Wigan again in Higginson, getting his body in front. Not looking for that penalty, making sure he cuts down that play.
Tautai into the chest of Darryl Clark.
I've got you, Chris.
The last thing any club wants is a plethora of injuries. Warrington have suffered 2 in the opening half here. This is Sargentson, gets it away to Charnley. Charnley cuts back on the inside. He's brought down by Westwood. Gildart waits, finds the skipper O'Loughlin in centre field. He gets to Matty Smith, and he is immediately gobbled up by Ben Curry. Powell. Here is O'Loughlin again. Now it's Sargentson attacking down that right-hand side. Manfredi skips in the corner. Rangers against Saints and Hull KR, and he got 3 tries in the 30-20 win against Warrington here last April. There's the first he's got tonight for Wigan, and they're on the ball.
Well, he's full of confidence, isn't he, Don Manfredi? And this is when you see Wigan at the best, the sweeping lines at the back, but the pass from Sargent. Kevin Penny didn't need to come in. He didn't need to try and shut that player down. He needed to have more faith in Stefan Ratchford. Stefan Ratchford pointing up, he's numbering up. He just shifts off, he pushes off to a player and leaves the space on the edge for that man. So one of the standout performers in Super League this year. Whether he's close to the opposition's line or he's near his own line, this man, when he gets the ball, he's fully committed. And that's a decent finish as well from the youngster.
I was going to suggest a possible candidacy here for Young Player of the Year, but I noticed that Don Manfredi is 22, so he is out of the age bracket. 21 or under at the start of the season.
It's been a revelation, hasn't he? Kept Josh Charnley out of the team last year. He's big, he's strong, he's exactly what you want.
I think he'd probably pay some credit as well, though, when he looks back at the try again, to the work that Greg Burke did. I know it was a very quick catch and pass to Sean O'Loughlin, but obviously he held in some defenders, creating the space, letting the ball do the work. Isn't as easy as what it looks, and I think that his decision to stand and pass quickly to O'Loughlin allowed Sargentson to throw the glamour pass and Manfredi to score the try.
So can Matty Smith succeed now where Chris Sandow failed from conversion attempts wide out on the touchline? Difficult kick again. And he misses as well. And not too impressed with the fact that he's missed. But Manfredi, tremendous try from him. That, by the way, is his 6th of the campaign.
Harold Clark makes a decision to come in, and that brings Ryan Atkins in. It has a knock-on effect on Ratchford and Penny. And as ever, even when the try is scored out in the corner, you need to look closer to the ruck to find the origins of the problems in the defensive line. And I think Darrell Clark has gone and seen something, seen a threat. I'm not sure yet whether it existed in there, but that's dragged Atkins in and then Ratchford in. Wigan too good to leave a chance like that on the pitch, and they take full advantage.
Well, has the Wigan fight back begun? They traded a 14-point lead to Warrington. Now it's 10, and we're 6.25 minutes away from half-time. Sargentson spun to the ground. Referee shouted that the tackle had been completed. So even though he offloaded the ball, that's not allowed. It brings it back for the play of the ball. Tautai goes up the middle.
Well, Eddie, in the opening 30 minutes, it was all about Warrington, wasn't it? 5 breaks they made just to Wigan's 1, but Wigan slowly building, looking to shift that ball, looking to do the hard work. First of all, playing off the ruck, and then looking to play wide.
Look at that scoreline from Headingley. Leeds the champions, the treble winners 0, Hull Kingston Rovers 12.
Well, although Liam Farrell gets the kick away and he gets it deep, I'm not so sure that Sean Wayne will be looking for his back rower to be the man who's kicking the ball, especially when he's got the likes of Sean O'Loughlin and Matty Smith in the side.
Lynham has the ball. He will play it there to Ratchford. He then gives it to Jack Hughes. And Hughes makes more territory inside the Wigan half of the field. Lynham scampers into dummy half. Goes into centre field to Westerman. That was Gidley. He finds Ratchford, who finds Curry. Oh, he slipped the net again. Does Curry gets a great ball away to Ratchford. Ratchford wide to Kevin Penny. Down back to Ratchford. Back to Ratchford, and they are over underneath the sticks. And Ratchford didn't like the fact that he was flopped on as he was scoring the try by Liam Farrell.
Eddie, if that's a try, that is absolute pure class, isn't it?
He's going to get 8 points, not just 6.
Yeah, starting with Ben Curry, I'd say one of the most talented youngsters we've got in Super League.
Well, the referee is going to check on that late challenge.
Can you please check for an 8-point try because of the actions of Farrell?
I think the try has been awarded, Stu. They're just looking for an 8-point try possibility.
That's right. He wants to see whether Liam Farrell's actions could have been deemed as foul play on the try scorer. And if so, we could have an 8-point try. Well, certainly the try scored. It's a late flop. The question is it foul play? It's difficult to see.
The knees.
Well, he's leading with the knees, but the knees hit the ground first. It's more of a flop. It would be a flop in open play. Would it be classed as foul play?
Can that be a sin bin?
Well, to sin bin somebody for that, I think would be harsh. Yes, you probably don't want to see it, but it's a flop, and that's all it is. It's not foul play. I would think it's just a try. This.
Well, it's left Stefan Ratchford limping. The try is given.
And he's awarded the 8-point try. He's telling his touchers to go and stand on the 10-metre line, which is the signal that it's going to be an 8-point try.
I don't have a problem with that. He's gone in with his knees. I think that's a foul. I think that's a penalty.
Is that a yellow card, Brian?
I'm not sure whether it's a yellow card, Phil, but it's certainly foul play.
Let's hear from the referee.
It's an 8-point try for a late challenge. Oh, do you want him to say? No, hang on. Like language. It's an 8-point try. That's all it is. Let's go away. If you don't want to listen, go away. Go away. Go away. 8-point try.
So it is an 8-point try, as we heard from Robert Hicks, and we also have to apologise for some words you might have heard in the heat of the argument from Chris Hill.
And both captains, who are normally very composed when they play the game, going at each other.
Oh, well, here we go. Kicking. Kurt Gidley is now kicking. No conspiracy theory. Lands the conversion, and Wigan are on the way for the kick-off. Well, they've got the penalty in front of the post for the 8-point try.
Let's not let that detract any from the quality of this try. Absolutely sensational try by the Warrington Wolves. Talk about fatigue over Easter. Well, the way these boys are throwing the ball around, looks like fatigue has been banished. Ratchford gets involved. He's the ultimate try scorer. Then Ben Curry with some beautiful footwork finds Ratchford again. Kevin Penny, smart. I think that Sean O'Loughlin said he's entitled to challenge for it. I don't think that's a fair challenge from Liam Farrell. That's not a flop in my book. I think that's foul play. He's led with the knees and he's left him in a bad way. That would be a very sore contact.
Well, he is one of the best back rowers in this competition, as we see Kurt Gidley. He didn't put much effort into the last kick. He doesn't need to kick it far. He just gets it over the bar here. Liam Farrell's play, though, I think he did it in last year's grand final. And there was no need for that. For a player to be sin-bin for putting the hand on the ball and slowing the play of the ball down, and not to be sin-bin for something like that, doesn't seem consistent to me. Doesn't seem to make sense. But Ben Curry has been in brilliant form here tonight. The pass here back from Kevin Penny, just about to Ratchford. What a wonderful try. That'll be in the top 5.
Do you know, it's right across the board, isn't it? Whether you're a forward, whether you're an outside back, you look to go into contact, you look to offload the ball. You've got a winger who catches the ball, puts it in 2 hands, promotes it back into inside to where Stefan Ratchford just pushing up, plugging that gap.
Here goes Westerman for Warrington, who are ahead 22-4, and St Helens have increased their lead at Langtree Park, Ben.
That's right, 2 tries in 7 minutes for St Helens. Jordan Turner it was. The pass came from Wilkin. They've got no answer on that left-hand side. The Saints' left-hand side, that is. Absolutely lethal. 16-6.
16-6 Saints. Warrington 22-4 up here. Wigan on the attack with Charnley. Charnley gets to within 10 metres of the Warrington line before he's grounded. Powell to Liam Farrell. Farrell then to Smith. Here's Tautai. It's untidy, but he finds O'Loughlin. Now Sargentson. Powell again. Tautai takes the ball forward. Good defence though from Warrington, isn't it?
It is, Eddie, but it was easy to read. There was no one pushing up with him. That's why 3 men could get in on Tautai, close that down.
They're pushing up here. The man who's pushing up is Joel Tompkins. And the 12 men of Wigan hit back.
Time off.
Not giving it yet.
Tackle 3. May have got a try.
Try on the field though.
Obstruction there, please.
Possible obstruction in back play, Stuart.
Yeah, there was a little bit of coming together of a couple of players, but I think it was a defensive error on the move by Wigan. You see the ball is moved behind, no problem so far. The pass goes on the outside of the lead man. And I think it's this next bit where we get a bit of a coming together.
Is that just a poor read, Stuart?
Well,
going into Liam Farrell?
There's certainly nothing yet. I think it's just after this, perhaps, that there's an issue. it's that collision there I think they were concerned about, but he's well through the line by that point, and I don't think there's an issue.
There's two poor reads from me. Kurt Gidley, well, here automatically he's going in.
Can't have a blocker in front of the ball, man with the ball.
If you have a look, Liam Farrell set his line, he's going through, then Kurt Gidley on the play before from the camera angle behind, he goes in and reads that. This will probably get chalked off, Phil, totally agree, but it's the wrong read by the number one for Warrington.
Well, you're asking a video referee to imagine what's in the mind of the defender. If there's a player blocking him from tackling the man with the ball, it surely can't be a try.
Well, it's going to be disallowed.
It is disallowed. Tompkins gets nothing, and the Wigan fans are left shaking their heads.
I still think that Kurt Gidley, he goes in, look, he steps off his left foot, steps off his right foot, he goes in, he thinks the ball's going inside. That's why he goes in. If he engages with that defender, whether he's got through the line or not. Stuart?
Well, I'm in agreement with you. I thought there was depth on the pass as well, so that Kurt Gidley wouldn't have got nearer the tackler. I thought it was a harsh one to chalk off.
Yeah, but Phil's point is well made. You're asking the video referee to get into the minds of players, which is important. I mean, I'm sure that Gidley made the wrong read.
It was the wrong read.
I'm sure he went to the player, but you can't ask the video referee to judge on what's going through a player's mind. You can only ask him to judge on what he sees on the field, surely.
Hold, wait.
Sean Wayne won't be terribly impressed, and maybe even less impressed now, because Wigan have conceded another penalty. No Sam Tompkins, he's still a long way away from fitness.
If you're Warrington here now, I know Chris Sandow's off the field, but they've got 60 seconds. 1 point would be a significant one for them if they can get close enough and find a drop goal before the half-time hooter. An 18-point lead becoming a 19-point lead is a massively significant step up for them as we approach the half-time break.
Westwood, down he goes. First tackle. Will Warrington take it in towards the post? There's a bit of pushing and shoving between Westwood and Farrell in back play. Meanwhile, Hill's legs come up in the tackle. They're in centre field now here with Westerman, and he goes for the line. And that's a desperate tackle from Powell. And there's interference. No, the referee says knock on by Warrington.
Eddie, and they were setting up for it as well. Chris Hill, Joe Westerman, decent play of the balls.
Well, we've got some more action at St Helens, Ben.
16-10 now, Eddie. Hull have managed to grab themselves another try. Curtis Norton, it is on the left-hand side. Work the ball over there, and Mark Sneed couldn't have the extras from the touchline. It was a good attempt, but Norton sneaks over. Hull right back in this, 16-10.
Yes, they are right back in it, 16-10. Wigan need something to get themselves right back in this. Tony Smith knows, and Richard Agar, that they have lost two key men to injury, Rhys Evans and Chris Sandow, but they have scored tries from Curry, Lynham, Penny and Ratchford. One of those was an 8-point try. So 22 points to 4 at half-time, Wigan with only the man Freddie tries to go for their first half efforts. Lots of work to do for Sean Wayne in that Wigan dressing room. On a Super League Friday tomorrow, 2 more games for you. First of all, Wakefield against Salford is available at 2:45 on Sky Sports 2, followed swiftly by the Catalan Dragons against the Widnes Vikings at 4:55 on the same channel. Players emerging for the start of the second half. Wigan have been out there a while. Warrington still in the dressing rooms as far as we know, and Warrington are ahead 22 points to 4. 4 tries to 1. Ratchford and Gidley with a couple of goals for the Wolves. But the important news is that Warrington have also lost Rhys Evans and Chris Sandow to injury in that first half. They won't be back tonight, and we'll have to wait to see if they will be back in the near future. Well, Wigan know they've got it all to do in this second 40. Where do they get the win from? Terry, or indeed the fight back?
Well, they do need a fight back, don't they? And the reason why Sean Wayne would have sent them out there a bit earlier, because he wasn't happy with what he saw in the first half. It's very rare that I've ever seen a Wigan side been sent out from the changing room 4 or 5 minutes before the opposition. Both sides completing high early on in the game, then they seem to fall off the back end of the sets. and it's going to be interesting to see how Warrington really cope, because Wigan are going to come at them really strong in the middle, I believe. But we're just having Stephen Ratchford one back on the bench. Let's see what happens here in the second half.
Well, Wigan have dominated Warrington in Super League previously, 30 wins from 49 at meetings in the summer era. But here tonight, so far, Warrington have been the dominant force.
Eddie, they've been very good this season. They've been very good in this game for the first 40 minutes. But I'll tell you what, it will take a Herculean effort from the visitors to keep this scoreline at this distance, 18 points. I think Wigan Warriors are going to have a massive say in this game in the second half. And I think we could be in for one of the great finishes. I really do think the home side are capable of a comeback because of this depleted Warrington Wolves outfit.
That's a great slip pass, though, from Adkins. And there's a huge upset brewing at Headingley. 14-0 now. Hull Kingston Rovers are ahead against the champions. One of the conundrums of 2016. What has happened to the Leeds Rhinos this year? Darrell Clark to Gidley, who hits the ball high into the air. Oh, and that was an easy catch for Lynham. Well, well done, I suppose you have to say, to Wigan. Charnley and Sargentson waited for Lynham to pouch the ball and then sprung the trap.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, Ed, what a brilliant set of six from Warrington. They trapped Wigan in the corner. The forwards doing the job, just playing the basics, playing the ball really quick and coming up with a great kick.
Well, we saw Wigan out there early, waiting for the start of this second half. I wonder what Sean Wayne has said to them. What did Tony Smith say as well during half-time? Angela Powers with the news.
Sean Wayne said it was a very tough dressing room. You can imagine that with those paint blistering off the wall in there. He wants his team to show some desire. They gave Warrington too much time and too much room, and they embarrassed us, he said. A tough dressing room, as I said, and tougher for them is that they won't have Sean O'Loughlin for this second half. He has a hamstring injury. Now, from the Warrington point of view, Tony Smith is happy. They're working hard in defence and attack. He wants them to keep that intensity and the attitude in the second half.
Thanks, Ange. So Tony Smith happy enough, but I bet he's not happy with the fact that he's got players on the sideline, and that's a big blow for Wigan that Sean O'Loughlin isn't there second half.
Well, sorry, Terry, that levels things back up again, doesn't it?
Listen, both teams are missing players tonight. Both teams are missing players before tonight. Let's focus here on the here and now. The players on show here. We've got some brilliant players in sensational form. Darrell Clark being one of them, scutting through with that wonderful footwork.
And he gets the penalty because Tautai wouldn't let him get up on his feet and play the ball.
And it's just too quick for Wigan. Look, it's one-on-one, Tautai holding on for dear life. They're beaten for speed, they're beaten for power early on, and when you've got someone like Matty Russell and Tom Lynham who just win those early plays, they're so big, they're as big as forwards. They're quicker than forwards, they run as hard as forwards, they land on the front, and then it just plays into the hands of Darrell Clark. And Sean O'Loughlin, well, he's so disappointed not to be out there in the second half, but obviously giving that penalty away, knows it puts his side under pressure.
Warrington 20 metres away from the Wigan line. Here's Chris Hill driving that ball in at Tautai, at Powell, at Burke. Brought to ground with a little bit of help from Ryan Sutton as well. Darrell Clark 10 metres out. Here they come, the Warrington Wolves, with Ratchford and Curry, and short ball to Atkins. And Atkins, I think he might have touched this down. I think he might have touched it down between his legs with his back to the Wigan defenders. They have a try on the field.
Can you just check if there's a knock-on before?
I thought he lost it as he's trying to. Comes up with a brilliant
That's what they're looking at. That's what they're looking at, a possible knock-on.
Yeah, I think he loses it.
He was whooping and hollering, Terry. I'm going to say he got this down.
Yeah.
Stuart?
Well, they're looking at a knock-on first. Does he lose it into a Wigan player before he gets it back? I don't think he does. I think he catches that without it touching an opposition player. Obviously, all he has to do is touch an opposition player for it to be classed as a knock-on. Yeah. It goes in the air, and he's got full possession of that without it touching a Wigan player. Now, the next question is, does he ground the ball?
Without seeing it again, I'm going to say yes. The reaction of Ryan Atkins says yes.
Well, it's very close. Does he get it on the line? It's only got to clip the line, remember.
Do you know, it's a cheeky move, isn't it? Backing into three Wigan players. There it is, the ball's there. Is it in his hand?
Well, I don't think you can say that he hasn't touched the line on what we've seen so far. Is he still in possession? I would have to say probably yes. I don't think they can deny him that try. It's been awarded on the field. I think this should be confirmed.
Any separation between ball and hand?
Well, this should tell us. I think that's on the ground with his fingers on the ball. I think this try has to be awarded.
Yeah, because they've handed it upstairs as a try on the field. They have to find definitive proof that it's not the right decision, and it was the right decision. Ryan Atkins then, 150 tries in Super League. 45 for Wakefield, 105 now for Warrington.
Well, they look excited, don't they? And I don't think in 25 years in a professional game, Eddie, I've seen a try like this. There's 4 players in attendance, and as soon as he plants that ball down, as Brian quite rightly says, the reaction of the player knows that he's scored the try. So not only he's got to contend with catching the ball with players in front of him, focusing on where's that try line, spread my legs a touch wider and just plant that down. Here's the kick.
And it has been missed by Joe Westerman.
Well, despite missing all those kicks, Eddie, Warrington have still scored more points against Wigan than any other team in Super League this year now, 26. They haven't managed to put over the 2 points, but they've been able to get over the try line. Nice attack, but it's been vastly improved this season, even without Chris Sandow on the field here now. The Wolves look, in 2016, a third of the way through the season, like they're heading all the way to Manchester.
Looks like this might be the year, but you have to whisper that quietly in the town of Warrington, because there have been so many false dawns in the recent past. But I can tell you that the Warrington Wolves now have used 4 goal kickers tonight, Westerman the latest, and that try from Atkins not only his 150th in Super League, but also his 6th try in the last 5 appearances.
Well, it's a good job for Tony Smith that they scored in enough tries, and Wigan, well, it's not the start that they want, as we see Rhys Evans, one of those injured players, sat on the sideline. A big blow for Tony Smith, but
big blow for Rhys Evans as well.
Yeah,
and Sandow being out there with the hamstring, but Rhys Evans particularly pulled the shoulder out of its joint almost last year. Sounds like he's done something similar to the other shoulder here tonight. How cruel can this game be?
Eddie, it's a cruel sport, isn't it?
Mason Kate Brown at Salford as well, by the way. He's suffered a nasty injury as well.
Hasn't he kicked well? I mean, his brother was a brilliant centre for St Helens and Newcastle Knights, but his kicking ability, I believe, comes from his father, Jeff Gidley. In the local competition in Newcastle, was renowned for his left boot. Lovely subtle touch on that. I think Kurt has inherited his father's kicking ability.
I think what's been easy for the likes of Kurt Gidley, though, is the way that they are playing on the front foot. They're under no pressure. They're placing the ball wherever they want it.
And the other thing about Kurt Gidley is the only game he's missed was Monday and the defeat at Hull.
Yeah. Important player, isn't he, for Warrington. Brought in big money signing. Here we go, Eddie, here we go.
It's a breakaway here. There's a chance. Gregson got the pass inside to Gildart, but that's a good chase back by Darrell Clark. Sargentson gives it to Powell. Powell in centre field to Smith, and Smith has a great pass. Here is Higginson, and Higginson hangs on. He thought about getting the ball out to Manfredi, thought better of it. Goes down in the tackle in the corner and gets the penalty for too much attention on the deck.
Well, he's not backing down, Higginson.
He's only 18, but he's no respecter of reputations, let me tell you.
Well, you can't have, Eddie, when you're playing this sort of game.
So Wigan take the quick tap. Here is Willie Isa. Warrington delaying the play of the ball. Powell finds Smith, turned back on the inside to Tautai, well read by Westwood. Powell fires the ball. Smith. Here is Gregson. Gregson gets it away to Ryan Sutton. The future of Wigan on show here tonight, as well as the present. Sam Powell. Powell with the pass to Smith. Smith then to Joel Tompkins. Tompkins stabs the ball in behind Kevin Penny. He's lost it into try for Manfredi. Second try for Dominic Manfredi. And Kevin Penny just couldn't control the depth of the kick to the in-goal area. Manfredi gets the try, his second of the night.
Well, it's the perfect response for Sean Wynn. Dominic Manfredi, one of those players who just gives his all every game, and the penalty comes around here. Jack Higginson and Stephen Ratchford, the altercation. Warrington get up really strong here, which opens up the space behind Joel Tompkins just drops it onto his toe because he knows that when the ball goes wide, the Warrington players on the left edge are pushing up really strong, trying to close that play down. As soon as he realises that nothing's on, he drops it onto his feet, and Dominic Manfredi, the man of the moment, the man of the club at the present, comes up with the try that gets them back into this game, or gives them hope at least, Eddie.
Well, who wants to be a goal kicker tonight? Josh Charnley then, he'll have a bash. He's the 6th different goal kicker we've seen from these two sides this evening. Obviously, Sandow off the field for Warrington, and Charnley has kicked the goal. How about that? Rugby union bound.
I told you they should have started with him.
Here's the break that gave Wigan the chance to get close to the opponent's line. Gregson comes through here, stays calm and finds Gildart. Good cover by Clark, but by being close to the opponent's line, you can just see what happens when this rugby league ball bounces. It can go anywhere.
What a lovely touch from a second rower. Joel Tompkins' kick. Such a deft little play. You saw that from a half-back in this Super League competition. You'd be saluting them. To see it from such a big man, well, it's all the more impressive.
But Kevin Penny has suddenly repaid the faith, because that was his kick-off and it was so high and hanging everywhere. And look, Gregson, Charnley, who wants it? Well, I'll tell you what, nobody.
Well, you feel that Charnley called for that, because Gregson seems to... Was he looking for the white line when he pulls out with that? Was he looking for Charnley to get it? Someone's got to take control in that situation.
Great kick-off.
It was a great kick-off, but you've still got to take control in those situations. Mistake here, but it goes backwards.
Well, here's Jordan Cox, and what a great recruitment decisions he's been by Warrington so far. Tony Smith, interestingly, is going to give him probably the last half an hour of this match to make an impact. And boy, he's carried the ball with devastating impact since he arrived at the Warrington club. He's one of those players who probably needed a change in his career. Maybe he'd gone stale in that environment, but he certainly started to play better in 2016.
Ben Curry has played brilliantly at the start of 2016. Big, young. I'm sure Wayne Bennett, the New England coach in Australia, knows all about Ben Curry. Ryan Atkins will attack the line now. Down he goes. They don't want to let him get too close to the line, because he can poach a try with his back to them. This now is Westerman in centre field, gives it to Gidley. Big collision with Gildart. Down he goes and wrestled on the floor by Sutton. He gets up though, plays the ball to Clark. Nice chip to the in-goal area, or a little grubber kick rather to the in-goal area. It's a goal line dropout for Tony Smith's Warrington.
Well, they're just looking up now. They've got the field position. They're playing what's in front of them. Darrell Clark gets out from dummy half. He knows that he's got Joel Westerman and Ben Westwood in the vicinity. He'll put the pressure on this Wigan side. And Ryan Son, he's one of my favourite players in Super League, the youngster. Just 20 years of age.
Plenty of time, just under half an hour for Wigan, but 16 points the gap. Here goes big Jordan Cox again. Oh, he runs strongly.
Do you know what? He runs strongly, but great carry, great tackle. And I agree with Phil. He's certainly played very well since he signed for Warrington.
Did we see that at Hull Kingston Rovers?
I must admit, I didn't see that when he was at Hull KR.
He's got some competitive spirit. He's taken one and been hit. He wants to get involved again, but the misdirection of the pass here. 16 points behind. Wigan score next, and this place will come alive.
Yes, it will. Darrell Clark dumps Nick Gregson to the ground. Meanwhile, here is Gildart.
Here's the charge back at the defence. Bang! 3 men all over him.
Straight at Willie Isa, the man who's brought on to and started the game to create mayhem in the middle.
There's enough G-force in that to suggest that was a car crash. Dear me. Barry and Terry's biggest hits. It won't make it. It was legal.
No, that could make it, because it was a great carry and it was a great shot. Come on, Eddie. Be positive.
Matty Smith. I'm positive you won't use it. Now you'll put it in just to prove me wrong.
Number one.
Joel Tompkins stabs it through again. Lots of chasing after this. This time Lynham is the man who comes to the rescue, and he makes sure that the ball was not spilled. Now Kevin Penny underneath his own post, back to where the original tackle came from. Wigan, his supporters are starting to come alive. Lynham goes down.
And so the Wigan players as well, Eddie. They're all cheering each other on. Get off the line here, dominating the tackle, and put the kicker under so much pressure.
Hughes plays the ball. That was off the knees, I think, or the ankles of Clark. It is. It's a great set of 6 from Wigan defensively, though.
You don't do that pass, though, Eddie.
Oh, hang on. They're running it, Warrington. Curry goes inside Higginson, and then a long kick downfield turns Sargentson round. That's not a bad end, actually, to that set for Warrington. After all that pressure up the other end, here is Sargentson. Gets the ball away to Charnley. Right, more action here, more action at Langtry Park. Ben Pro, look at that.
You mentioned the Wigan supporters coming alive at the DW Stadium, Eddie. It's the whole supporters who are coming alive at Langtry Park because their team have got this up at 16 points apiece. Norton with a sensational break, Yeaman on the end of it to go in. The conversion successful as well, 16 points apiece.
Great stuff at Langtry Park, great stuff building here. A big finish coming, maybe. The DW Stadium.
Do you know, Eddie, you've just got to hold your nerves in games like this when it's so tight with 27 minutes to go. Wigan is still in it.
And Higginson, he's just collared by Curry and brought down. Important tackle that was by Curry. Joel Tompkins, Matty Smith, thought about the inside pass to Sargentson, thought better of it, took a big hit from Jordan Cox. Here now is Gregson. Gregson booms the pass wide. He finds Oliver Gildart. He goes to get away from Hughes, gives it then to Liam Farrell. Farrell with the kick, left-footed, too strong.
Well, they're all having a go at kicking, aren't they? Joel Tompkins, Liam Farrell.
Well, Joel Tompkins' kicks were brilliant, both of them. The short one, the longer range one.
Yeah.
But Wigan now turning the pressure here. Really turning it right up here now on their opponents.
Look at that line speed, Eddie.
Great tackle by Joel Tompkins on Jordan Cox. He plays the ball to Ratchford. Here comes that man Curry again. He is lifted up and dumped to the ground. Higginson whispering and shouting in his ear with help from Powell. Great stuff from Wigan defensively.
Yeah, sorry, Eddie, I talked about him hunting. Look at the line speed here. Oh!
Boys. Another big hit.
Willie Iser, straight on Cox.
And Cox is groggy. Gidley under pressure gets the kick away, and he finds touch on this near side just to bring the semblance of order to things. Cox receiving some words from the physio. He's been battered twice in the last 5 minutes.
Well, he's come up with a couple of strong carries, and when you're that big, you're a big target, aren't you? And Willie Iser just runs as hard as he can, as quick as he can. What targets the big fella and just throws himself in front?
What did Willie Iser do there?
Well, I'm not so sure he can actually jump into a tackle like that. I think he's lucky to get away with that, really.
Interesting one. Terry O'Connor's looking puzzled, no surprise, but interesting tackle technique.
That's illegal just because he jumps into the tackle.
He jumps in and leads with his knee, doesn't he? That's the problem with it.
If he jumps in and just hits him clean, that's okay, isn't it?
That's fine, yes, but he jumps in and leads with his knee.
I wasn't saying that, Stuart.
Right, here we go, Wigan. Oh, a little fumble. First mistake from young Jack.
Well, the Warriors have thrown a lot of punches for the last 5 or 10 minutes. A lot of them really in defence. They did it to try and get some possession in their opponent's half, but that mistake here, the pass not finding the man, they've not been able to create that overlap. And Kirk Gidley's last kick, the one which rolled out of play, I think was one of the players of this match, because it started to just stem the enthusiasm that had been building in the Wigan side. It slowed down the clock, stopped the momentum of the match. We've got another stoppage here now, and in any way, it sapped some of the confidence and interest that Wigan had, still behind by 16.
Time is still on their side, though. 56 minutes, 35 seconds gone. The clock stopped. Ashton Sims is about to return to the action by the looks of things. He'll be the 5th change if that card that he's got in his hand is anything to go by. The 5th change by Tony Smith.
This clock ticks on, Eddie, and we get closer towards the end. Keep an eye on players like Matty Russell. The energy that he can bring to this team, this game, that might be able to exploit some tired defence. He didn't play in that Easter Monday game. He should be fresher than some of the players out there, certainly fresher than some of the opposition players. Number 5 for Warrington might bring them home with a wet sail.
This, meanwhile, is Jordan Cox. Makes some more good metres towards the Wigan line. Draws applause from the Warrington supporters behind those posts. Ratchford waits, dummy half, off the fingertips. Did that go forward? Who's going to get this? Wigan will. That was good parrying there. Great harrying by Gregson. Down the left-hand side they come again with Liam Farrell, halted by Joe Westerman on halfway.
Well, they look good when they open it up, Wigan. They've certainly got the players now who are stepping up. Apart from that run, there was nobody in support of young Gildart. We've got good shape here on the right-hand side with Matty Smith, who chooses to go left.
With Gregson. Collision between him, Hughes and Gidley. Farrell, Powell and Smith. Smith looks behind him, sees Sargentson. He was picked out there by Ryan Atkins. Smith to Joel Tompkins again. This is the last tackle. That's tremendous harassing by Warrington in defence. Great defence from the Wolves.
You've got to know where you are in the tackle count as well, though, haven't you? It was good defence from Warrington, but Wigan just lost the way in that set of 6.
Darryl Clark.
Had Liam Farrell kicking Eddie as well. Matty Smith has got to dominate that ball, tackle 4, tackle 5, and he needs to be kicking. Not Farrell, not Tompkins, although Tompkins were good kicks. Again, getting caught with the ball there, that's not good enough from the organisers of the team.
And that's when they're missing someone like Sean O'Loughlin, the man who normally takes control in those sorts of situations.
Ashton Sims. Oh, he dropped that. Oh, he dropped that in the collision. Trying to get up and get a quick play of the ball, he lost it.
Well, it's nothing to do with fatigue. I think Ashton Sims, quite rightly, Eddie, you say, just drops it, loses control, doesn't have total control as he's getting up to play it. And Sean O'Loughlin, wouldn't he love to have him on for the final 21 minutes of this game?
Well, he's got hamstring problems, Sandow hamstring problems. Rhys Evans pulled shoulder. Serious injuries, long term, could be. Game being played at quite a cost tonight.
There it is, Warrington going into this game with more or less a full squad, but you look at the plays that were missing for Wigan: Gelling, Bateman, Flower, Crosby, Williams, McLaurin, Sam Tompkins, and now Sean O'Loughlin. It's not good times for Sean Wayne.
No, it isn't, but maybe his team that's out there on the field will give him something to smile about, because here goes Gildart. He's scragged to the floor by Jack Hughes. And he delayed then Hughes. Charnley will have a stab. Lynham gets to him, his opposite number. Plays the ball to Gildart. Gildart then with the pass to Gregson. Here is Matty Smith. Now he comes back to Sargentson. Oh, great ball! Manfredi! Hat-trick again for Manfredi! He came up with one last April when Wigan won here by 30 points to 20. And he's come up with a hat-trick here tonight, taking his season's tally to 8. But Manfredi was the hero of St Helens' win last week. Is he the man who has sparked the comeback of all comebacks here?
Well, he certainly knows how to score some tries. Matty Smith creates all those problems. He's got a lead runner that's outside him, and the Warrington defenders just move in. They shoot in, they pull the trigger. You can see Ryan Atkins, he shoots the line, and then it's a 3-on-2, but that's a great ball from Dan Sargentson, the man who's going to play in the Gold Coast. You can see he links up here with Matty Smith. As soon as Stefan Ratchford goes in, there's space out wide, and that's a brave finish from the youngster.
Yeah, the Warrington defenders tackled each other. They didn't tackle him. He was on the deck and sliding into the corner. Now then, we say we've had 6 different kickers tonight. The last kicker for Wigan was Charnley, who was successful. This is a tad more difficult, but a similar angle.
You're going to back him, Eddie?
Well, he's off to rugby union, and you know, I'm not suggesting for 1 minute that they've only bought him to kick goals the way he scores tries, this fella, but who knows?
I'm going to back him for this.
Oh, it's a great kick. Oh, great kick from Charnley! Terry takes home the money. Charnley brings home the bacon, and the Warrington conversions missed early just might come back to haunt them.
Well, you've got to make sure that you keep hold of your nerves. The mistakes, they've scored enough tries to win a couple of games. Warrington used all these goal kickers. They've sliced them either side of the sticks.
Terry, you referenced the bravery of Manfredi diving in between some arms and bodies to score that try. I think the bravest part of that play was a pass from Dan Sargentson. We've been here and watched him play at fullback and hit the touch judge with passes, but it doesn't deter him. And if he can bring that element to his game, whether he's playing at fullback in the centres, he certainly, when he finds a mark, he's got a beautiful pass. But he risked on that time, Phil. He risked the humiliation of an intercept, but it didn't put him off.
I think you're right. I think we have seen the developments as passing. It may even end up as a standoff, which is where he played when he was younger. Maybe now he's throwing 10 passes or more a game, and that's starting to see that he does have that skill to deliver the killer blow.
And here comes Tony Clubb down the middle for Wigan. Oh, gets the pass away somehow. Powell will take it forward. More good hands. Was that flicked by Kevin Penny? I think it was. It was a good job he got to it, because Manfredi was heading for four.
Well, good ball as well there. The Wigan fans are going mad. The atmosphere certainly will inspire the teammates. The quick hands here from Higginson. Kevin Penny, well, the ball comes off his left hand, so it's another set of six right on halfway. Well, how do you control Wigan now here, Brian?
Well, when the referee, Terry, signalled that play would be a scrum for Wigan Warriors, this place lifted. The decibels went up and up and up. And there's a sizable crowd in here. Well,
but there you go.
Still enough time on the clock. Still enough players out there for Wigan to come closer on the scoreboard. What a finish we'll have then.
But Warrington looking to try and put this game to bed finally here. The mistake from Gildart was a difficult pass. It was a little behind him and it was dipping as well. Jordan Cox goes down on the second tackle as Leeds maybe mount a fight back at Headingley. This, meanwhile, is Warrington in possession with Ratchford as Wigan are trying to mount a comeback here. Clark and Westerman takes it straight up the middle. Powell stood his ground. Mossop and Liam Farrell in there as well. Only 10 points in it.
Sorry, Eddie. Tony Smith just sent on big Chris Hill to give this side a big lift.
Here's the last one for Warrington this set. Kurt Gidley gets the kick in, but it comes up in the cherry and white possession.
Well, let's see what Warrington can do now. We know that Wigan are a very aggressive side as Dan Sargentson looks for the tip-on runner to Joel Tompkins. Here's the kick. It comes up nicely for Willie Isett. This is where I feel that Warrington need to work that bit harder. Easy yards here, bringing the ball away.
Probably the most important player for Wigan now. He's one who might not touch the ball a lot, but he's influencing what they do. Matthew Smithy is going to get possession on this play. He's directed where the team went on the three previous ones, and he's just about tried to create the overlap here on the right side.
Tell you what, Sean Wayne was saying he was looking forward to seeing Higginson in this cauldron here tonight. And he's really done well for him. He really has, the young man. But here come Wigan down the other side now with Gildart. He stabs it forward. And Russell is there to tidy up for Warrington.
Well, the reason they had to shift it out wide and put in that kick, which is non-threatening, is because of Chris Hill, Ben Curry and Joe Westerman's efforts, speed off the line, put pressure on the recognised kicker. Wigan Warriors forced to shift it out wide. This victory, if it is a victory, or the scoreline certainly so far in the 10-point lead, is based on the defensive effort of the Warrington Wolves. They can throw the ball around, they can score tries, but they are defending exceptionally well. They're doing the little things right.
Westwood goes down, tackle number 4, still just inside their own half of the field. Penny gives it to Hill. Chris Hill tucks the ball under his arm, makes 12 good metres forward.
Do you know how many times does he just keep turning up for that carry that nobody else wants?
Gidley smashes the ball towards Charnley, and Charnley does well to hang on to that.
That was well taken from the left winger for Wigan.
15 minutes remaining, 10 points the difference. Can Wigan produce mission impossible? That's what it looked like at half-time, but they've fought their way back into the match.
Some of the quicker players now coming in. Again, Wigan look to shift it. It's not about 5 drives and a kick.
Higginson to Smith. Ooh, and it's on the ground. Finds its way to Farrell. Farrell then looks for support. There it is. Sargentson's all over the field.
Keep coming!
Farrell again. Here they come now with Gregson. Some youngsters really showing their colours out there tonight. Farrell down towards the corner. Oh, is that a knock-on? It was a knock-on by Gidley.
Another set of 6 here now. Farrell jumps out short side. Kurt Gidley was hoping it was going to go to the open side, he kicks the ball.
Oh, he doesn't touch his hands.
No, it doesn't. Oh, it doesn't. Oh, he's been hard done by there, Gidley.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one on Kurt Gidley. Did brilliantly well, move his hands away, use his knees and thighs to trap the ball. He finds himself.
He didn't complain much, did he? When
Well, he did. He got up. To be fair, he got up and incredulous. Spoke to the referee. Referee dismissed him, and to his credit, he's got back and got on with it, as you'd expect the players to do. But that's a tough one for the Wolves.
Atkins roughly puts Higginson to the ground. Just trying to think who it was. It was Oliver Gildart. I beg your pardon. Gildart to the deck. Powell, Smith, Tautai. Wigan mixing muscle and muscle. Powell, Smith, Gregson. Good run from young Gregson to within 2 or 3 metres of the Warrington line. Liam Farrell fires the pass to Matty Smith. Smith drifts the kick in. So close. Kevin Penny took the gamble and it came off.
Well, the fans now trying to just encourage the team on, but they certainly look like they're playing with a bit more freedom, Wigan. All the players running, offering themselves as options. Defensively here, let's see what they can do. Warrington just not taking that quick tap, just letting the clock just tick down.
OKR 24-10 up now at Headingley. 16 all still at St Helens. Here, all to play for in the last 13 minutes. Wigan trying to come and win it from behind. And all the tries from those two games you'll be able to see in the latter stages of our programme tonight. And don't forget, they all go online. The final sirens sound also. Atkins off the ground to Stephen Ratchford. Westwood grounded on the last. Darryl Powell is waiting at dummy half. Back it comes to Ratchford, and Ratchford just drills the ball into touch wisely, just trying to wind the clock down a minute or so.
Well, they needed somebody to take control, didn't they? And Stephen Ratchford did exactly that with that brilliant kick.
So scrum feed coming to Wigan. And what's happening at Langtree Park, Ben Pro?
Langtree Park, Eddie. Leo Farge tried to drop goal at the other end, and then Mark Sneed, from almost the halfway line, has come over to make it 17 points to 16 to Hull FC. It's 39 minutes gone on my watch, not long to go at all. A sensational finish, Hull on course for a 5th win in a row.
Wow, it's suddenly come good for Lee Radford at Hull. But can St Helens fight their way back into that? Can Wigan fight their way back into this? Is it beyond Leeds at Headingley? Big closing moments of the matches as Gildart somehow picked that ball out of the air.
And we can see more of the senior players trying to get themselves in this game now. Liam Farrell in particular in this second half, taking it upon himself to just lead from the front, try and create something. And he's proving to be a menace on that left edge.
It's the 9th round of the first Utility Super League for these two clubs. You would think Old Trafford itself was the prize to the winners this evening. Great set defensively here from Warrington now, as Wigan again shifted to the left. Gildart, oh, Charlie, knock on, gives it up, it's a free play. It's a free play, off goes Lynham.
They put themselves under pressure on that 4th play, that's why they didn't get that decent kick away.
Are they missing the direction of Sean O'Loughlin?
Well, you're always going to miss someone like Sean O'Loughlin, aren't you? The man who takes control in all situations, whether he's playing in the pack or out of the pack. He's certainly been the leader over the years he's been here.
This is good field position for Warrington though now. Remember, it was from a 0 tackle, so here is Hughes. Hughes stands, drops it, but it was knocked out by Tautai.
Well, this won't help the cause. With just over 10 minutes to go.
The Wolves need the killer blow, don't they? 10's nervous, 10-point advantage, it makes you nervous. They get a penalty here.
Come on, Kurt.
See, what's your view of this? He actually hit the arm.
He hit the arm and dropped out. Unfortunately, the referee's seen him going to go at the ball, and
his left arm.
His left arm actually pulls it out. So yeah, it's probably the right call.
So penalty to Warrington, and they're going to try and have a shot at goal here with Kurt Gidley, are they? He's got the ball in his hand.
Try and take as long as he can, I bet.
He can only take a minute, can't he?
That's right, it's a minute until the clock goes off, a minute from when the penalty was awarded, then time goes off, so how long he takes is irrelevant apart from obviously taking a bit of the steam out of the game.
It's super Benny Westwood for a kick. Long time since we saw him try it. No, he's walked away.
Yeah, he put his hand up.
Eddie, he's got a lot of strings to his bow, that man. One of the greats in Super League, I'll tell you himself.
Will he be tuning in, I bet, to watch his old club Wakefield tomorrow? A lot of good young Wakefield lads. He at one time started his career out, I think it was actually on the wing or centre for the Wildcats a long, long time ago. As he's got older and bigger, he's moved more into the middle. The Wildcats tomorrow hoping they continue their great run.
Well, Warrington have missed 4 kicks tonight already. Well, surely they're having a late night, aren't they? Well, Terry, she's got your dummy in.
Three's a crowd. They brought a crowd tonight. This is brilliant.
They have brought a crowd, you're right.
You'd expect the stadium to be like this, though, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not that far from Warrington either.
Time back on.
Gidley then, can he kick the goal? Yes, he can. Where's he been all night?
So not only is it 2 points, Eddie, it's wiped another minute off that clock, which will go down as a big victory here if the scoreline stays the same.
Well, Phil was mentioning Wakefield Salford. We have that for you tomorrow. Sky Sports 2 at 2:45 afternoon kickoff, and then tea time. It's the Catalan Dragons against Widnes. Same channel, 4:55. They'll start that one. Off Wigan and forward, says the referee. Liam Farrell disagrees.
Well, they had to go for the short kick-off, didn't they? Running out of time on the clock. They needed the ball back in good field position. They don't want to be bringing it away from yardage. And Robert Hicks judging that the ball goes forward here from the Wigan player.
Is that a penalty then?
Well, he's just in front, isn't he, when he's caught the ball. He's not being picked up as being offside. He actually is in front.
So if he's not in front, then it's play on, isn't it?
Come on, guys.
Well, he's in front, he's offside.
Let's go.
He's come off the Wigan player.
Ball in.
Hull KR 30, Rhinos 10.
Surrender!
Wow.
Stand now, hold.
Like the Chelsea, aren't they? The Super League gone from champions
Big 10 here, boys. Come on.
to unbelievably falling apart there for Leeds.
Hold. Go. That was good now.
They won the treble only last year, the Leeds Rhinos. You don't go that badly overnight.
Move! Hold
They
here.
obviously have a
Wait
problem
for the
or two.
foot. Go.
This is Atkins for Warrington. Sport is cyclical,
Release.
isn't it?
Hold. Go.
Hill driving it in again. Last tackle though coming up for Warrington here.
Here again, Eddie, short into touch.
Yeah. Safety first from Stephen Ratchford.
Eddie, it's been a big 8 days for both of these sides, and Stephen Ratchford, that's what you want. And your players that guide you around the park. As a forward, when you're playing, you just want someone to stand behind you, direct you where you want them to run, and then you come up with that play. And there's the Warrington fans celebrating what's been a great season.
They're delighted. It's a great season thus far. We're well away from full-time siren here. Full-time siren, I understand, though, has sounded at Langtree Park. And have Saints fought the way back? No, Ben, big shot.
Incredible result, Eddie. Hull do have that 5th win in a row, 17 points to 16. Mark Sneed with the drop goal that made the difference. It was Theo Farge who had one attempt for St Helens. That went wide. Mark Sneed on target. And Lee Radford celebrating 3 games on the spin now, 3 wins.
Well, some big names are foundering. Saints, Leeds foundering. That's the final score from Headingley. Hull Kingston Rovers have won by 30 points to 10. Here we have a possible Warrington victory, which will take them 2 points clear at the top, ahead of the field, and against their nearest rivals, the Wigan Warriors.
Well, apart from the Saints fans, the Leeds and the Wigan fans, everyone's asked that for a new breed or some new teams to come through and beat those big clubs. And certainly there's been some upsets this year, Eddie, and I'm sure before the end of the season there's going to be some more upsets.
There might well be. And Hull, they've only lost once in 6 visits to Langtree Park.
Do you know, what a turnaround for Hull since we saw them lose at Widnes. They didn't just lose, was it 46-6? They were hammered and embarrassed, but what a recovery for Lee Radford.
That was a Tautai kick.
Well, that speaks volumes, Eddie. That does speak volumes. We've had Tautai, we've had Farrell, we've had Tompkins kick.
Tony! Go, well done.
And that's no one taking control, Eddie, at the latter part of the set 6.
Well, the skipper's voice is missing in the second half.
Hold the 10, wait, go.
Westerman for Warrington.
3, Tony, club move! All the way. Come on, boy.
And Stephen Rashford waits for the Wolves at dummy half. He'll have a little run.
4.
I believe he thought that there were a couple standing offside then. Hill, straight up the middle, straight at Willie Isa, beyond Willie Isa, but halted by Tautai, asking for a penalty, non-forthcoming. Another kick for touch, or at least down the line by Ratchford, underneath the boot of Sargentson. They've got to go almost 100 metres, Wigan, if they're going to score. And they're still 2 converted tries away, and we're entering the last 5 minutes of the match in a few seconds' time.
Well, here we go. So the Warrington fans, well, they're still singing. They know that this is going to be a decent result for them. They thought they were going to be in a battle, and there was a couple of Wigan fans, when I was coming into commentary position, they were a bit nervous, knowing that Warrington had been absolutely on fire, and they expected a response because of their defeat on Easter Monday against Hull.
And they've got it, haven't they? They are less than 5 minutes away from taking a 2-point lead at the top of the table. That, of course, that situation will not interest Tony Smith one iota. But it's nicer to be there than where some of the big guns are finding themselves at the moment. I'll put it as simple as that.
Well, the move for Tom Lynham from Hull to Warrington also seems to have been a successful one. Started in great form as the Wolves now with Ben Curry shifted it wide, but both these sides here now just desperate to hear this final hooter. This contest, I think, is over, isn't it? They'll meet again, they'll fight again. They'll compete at the highest level, I'm sure, these two teams throughout this season.
Yeah, they must be exhausted, the players. 3rd game in 8 days. Takes its toll this time of the year, and there's often a time when performances dip a bit, but I don't think you can complain about the entertainment and the fare from both sides we've seen tonight.
No, they've both gone out there, lost players through injury, but they've both tried to entertain and give their all in what's been a tough period. But it's not just this week as well, Eddie, it's next week as well, that the conditioners from all the clubs in Super League will try and really nurse these players, who I'm sure there'll be a few of them playing there with injections, not 100% fit. Well, I tell you what, all those fans are fit, bouncing up and down, enjoying this moment at the DW Stadium.
Yes, they are, and safety first from Kurt Gidley there.
Well, it's good to see every supporter sing at some part in the season. Everyone wants to see the team go well, and the Wolves have done that. You know, Warrington have worked very hard, not just on the field, but off it, for a considerable period of time here. They have a new chief executive for Roger Draper, they have new members on the board, investing to improve the whole offering that Warrington do. They've made great efforts to be one of the best clubs in the community, and they've won awards for that over recent seasons. And finally, after a lot of hard work off the field, we're starting to see some success from them on it.
Charnley bounces off 2. Sims and Lynham can't get away from Jack Hughes.
Well, they've tried everything on that left edge, Wigan, to get the ball to Josh Charnley and Oliver Gildart, especially in this second half. Seem to be favouring their attack down that edge.
Gildart hacks the ball downfield into open space. Penny goes into reverse and picks up inside his own quarter, then stumbles into the tackle of Ryan Sutton, who does his best to pinch the ball.
Well, the Warrington players now just getting back behind the ball. They're counting on some of their outside backs, bringing it forward so they don't need to walk as far. He's been impressive as well, hasn't he? Matty Russell,
yes,
former Wigan player, former Wigan youngster.
It's a shame that Wigan haven't got some of the big guns. They've lacked O'Loughlin out there in the second half, the likes of Bateman.
What is
Buzz missing?
Sorry,
but you can take nothing away from this Warrington performance.
No, you can't. It's been Warrington's night. Warrington on the scoreboard have won this game. Warrington and the energy battle have won this game. Darryl Clark playing for the penalty, passing the ball into a Wigan player who's on the floor, and then they knock back the 10 metres. They're offside.
Good kick at goal here with Ben Westwood.
Yeah.
Well, Ben Westwood is pointing at the sticks.
Give him a go.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Well, we've got a minute and a half remaining.
You're tapping it, mate.
They're going to tap it, are they? He's asked, Darryl Clark's asking, does anyone want a kick? No.
Finish off with some more points here, Ed. 6 they're after, not just 2.
George King takes that tackle. Darryl Clark. Here is Ashton Sims. Finishing on the front foot.
Ryan, Tony, go.
Clark into centre field. King again. Now then, they're in 1-point territory. I wonder if they'll just rub a little bit of salt and bring a smile to Steve-O's face, who's watching at home as he continues his recuperation. I know you've missed him. 3 weeks' time he should be back.
First one. Bring him feet.
That's what he's telling me this week. Hips in place. Not in as much pain as he once was. In good spirits, waiting to get back. Can't wait. He's seen all the box sets available on Sky. He's sick of it. He wants to get back to the big games.
He put his hip on the right way around.
Well, I hope so. He's not walking backwards for Christmas anyway.
Well, Wigan player just going backwards, and if I cast my mind back to the start of this game, that's what happened in the first minute. Some of Warrington's tackles were that good, they drove Wigan backwards in possession. There's another knock on here now, and this game's coming to its natural end here.
Yeah, I don't think they'll form this scrum. Warrington are celebrating a famous win on this ground. As I say, Wigan have had the better of things. They beat Warrington twice in 3 meetings last year, for instance, including a 28-0 win in the Super 8s last August. But here tonight, it's Warrington's turn to smile. The players have given that up long before the timekeeper blew the siren. Well, Warrington's run goes on. They've won 9 of the last 10 if you stretch it back to last September, and they have only lost once, and that was on Easter Monday to Hull FC in 2016. The tries from Curry, Lynham, Penny, Ratchford, Atkins and Gidley. So shared across the field. There were the signs of a Wigan comeback when Manfredi got his hat-trick on the hour. He got a hat-trick in the win last year. He's got a hat-trick in the defeat this year. Warrington are 2 points clear of the field at the top. Wigan still just behind them in second. They'll be there or thereabouts, the two of them, come the end of the season.
I'm sure both of these sides will be in the mix-up in the end of the season, but Warrington coming to the DW getting a great win really after a tough period for both sides, but at the end of the day, Warrington have been the better side. They've outplayed their opponents, they've defended really strongly, they've scored some fabulous tries. All the goal kicks that they've missed, Eddie, it could have been a huge, huge score, but tremendous play from Warrington. They never gave up. Their attitude in defence and in attack, and I'm sure what we will see from Wigan, we'll see a more determined Sean Wade's set of players next time we see them on Sky Sports.
Well, Gidley there waving to the crowd. He has been the missing piece in the jigsaw, but there is the first utility man of the match. Darryl Clark is with Angela Powell.
Man of the match, Darryl Clark. That was a tough game, but what did it come down to in the end? What won you that?
Oh, we knew it would be a tough game. It's never an easy game coming to Wigan, and we were a bit off the boil on Monday, so we knew we had to come here with a big performance to get back to winning ways, and I think the boys dug deep tonight with a few injuries as well.
That was the first half really won that game for you, because you knew they were going to come out all firing in the second.
Well, we knew it wasn't won in the first half. We still had to come out in the second half, and give everything, because Wigan can come back. If you give them a sniff, then they'll rip it straight from under your feet. So yeah, the boys dug deep.
First versus second, you're still first.
Yeah, no, we're happy to be clear at the top, so hopefully we can keep knocking the wins out and stay there.
Congratulations, Darryl. We have Dom Manfredi now. On the losing side, Dom, having scored a hat-trick, that must be heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's tough to take, but we worked at the races today. We picked up a few injuries over the tough Easter period, and we just worked with it today.
The first half really cost you, didn't it? The lack of concentration, is that down really to the tough Easter period?
I don't know, we just didn't start well at all. They got on top of us quite early, scored a few points, and I think that really rocked us.
Scoring a hat-trick and being on the losing side isn't easy, but you've got to bounce back from this now.
Yeah, we will do.
How much does it matter to you that you've lost this game and not got this? It's like a 4-pointer really, isn't it, against Warrington now?
Yeah, it's a massive game. It always is against Warrington. They're going to be up there at the end of the year, and we need to get these wins, we need to get them points.
Thanks very much for your time, Dom. We have Tony Smith now, the Warrington coach. Tony, we talked about adrenaline and enthusiasm getting you through a game. That got more than that got you through this one.
Yeah, they got through on fumes, I think, both teams. A lot of uncharacteristic errors and mistakes and passages of play, but it's the old attrition thing, and yeah, in some ways it was entertaining, and it's a bit like watching the Lions and the Christians. But yeah, we got through. We come up with a couple of bad injuries. We lost Reese fairly early on, and not long afterwards Chrissy Sandow with a hamstring, and I see Lockers has done a hamstring as well. Fatigue, it's just fatigue.
Is that down to the Easter period?
Oh yeah, it's fatigue. That's the greatest cause of injury is fatigue. But hey, battled it out, and I've got to tip out to both sets of players. They really went for it. Wigan were tough there tonight. They always are here, but that first half really set the platform for us, and our defence was outstanding, even right at the death there tonight, and all the players deserve all the credit here tonight.
Thanks for your time, Tony. We have Sean Wayne with us now. Sean, Tony just made the point that their first half set the platform for the second half, but you knew your team had to come out with desire. They did that, but the first half cost you.
Yeah, I'm very proud. I think the best team won. Warrington were very good, but I thought we was a bit soft in the early period. But overall, the desire we showed was phenomenal. I've got £1 million training in the gym this morning, and that's what we had out on the field. And we showed up after a tough period against a really strong Warrington team. And they showed a lot of guts and desire. I'm very, very proud of my players today.
You missed O'Loughlin as well in the second half, and you missed some sort of direction really in your kicking.
Yeah, we did. And I've got Nick Gregson going on. He's a back rower in our academy, playing in the half. So I'm a lot to be proud of. I thought there were some great efforts, and I thought we could have got them. Certain times, a few calls went against us at crucial times. They're kicking for touch, and they were gassed, and we just missed a couple of opportunities where I want to win them. I don't want to do okay and lose it. I want to win them, and I thought we had a chance to win it. Even though I'm very happy, I still want to win them games.
These are top of the table clashes. They always have a lot at stake, don't they? But you'll have to go back and regroup after this.
Oh yeah, definitely. We've got 8 days now, Angela. We'll get some players back, and they're a champion team. Good players. They play a great brand of rugby league. So. To lose in that manner with, 600 grand on field, it's a good effort.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks very much.
Sean Wayne referencing the guts and bravery and the phenomenal desire of his side. Tony Smith getting biblical in his post-match analysis, but in summation, he said it was the spirit of a very fatigued side who have been under duress physically after the busy Easter period. He was delighted with his team's performance. He said it was really brought about by their defensive efforts. What do you think underpinned this Warrington Wolves win, this famous Warrington Wolves win?
Oh, it is. Don't underestimate or undersell how important this is in the scope of the season, never mind tonight. For me, it wasn't a particular player, it wasn't a try-saving tackle, it was an attitude displayed by this Warrington Wolves team, particularly in the second half. The first half, that was full, that was the drama and the skill. The second half, they gave us an exercise in how to close out a game. We joined this first clip. He's on the 67th minute, so Manfredi's just got his hat-trick, all the momentum with Wigan. So the first attitude or the first feeling that we're going to have a look at is some nerve, some real nerve. Have a look here at Kevin Penny.
I'm thinking great kick all the way
It's a superb kick. This takes an awful lot of bottle. To let that go, that is a huge play in the context of the game, because Wigan get another repeat set there. The Warrington Wolves were wobbling. That is a massive, massive play for them. Go 2 minutes later, you join the defensive line in the middle of the field. Have a look at the line speed and the reaction to the poor Wigan ball. Good first shot. Darryl Clark rides an elbow there from Joel Tompkins and doesn't react either. Look at the two guys top of your screen now, two prop forwards together. They forced the ball on the last tackle for Wigan, and it results in an error for them.
And these clips without the ball.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they needed to do, wasn't it? They needed to keep Wigan away from the try line. They didn't need to score any more points. They'd done all that in the first 40 minutes. The third clip, the final clip, is the most boring thing I could find, but it is equally as important as everything else we're going to show you tonight.
It's the most boring one that you've done this year. You have some competition. Go on.
So it's Kurt Gidley again. You know, has shown a great deal of control and composure throughout this game. Just that switch, that decision to make that effort on the last tackle with 4 minutes to go. That's how to close a game out. That's game management. That's what we mean. That's the most boring clip I could think I've ever shown anybody. But it tells the story that we need to tell,
at the
doesn't
right
it?
time, put the ball out, kill the game. One of the Wigan players watching that kick dribble out into touch was the right side second rower in that game, Joel Tompkins. He's the player that will be with you, John, at full time. Well, he'll be disappointed with the result. He'll be disappointed that Fortress DW Stadium is no longer. We'll get his thoughts coming up shortly. Stay with us.